talking about the free Hindu temples movement, we often quote Tamil Nadu as an example to emphasize the need to free temples from government control. So today's topic is Tamil Nadu and the temples. Is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Greece took the credit as birthplace of democracy that dates back to 6th century BC. But did you know that even 200 years before that means I'm talking about 8th century BC, there is a temple in Tamil Nadu that has inscriptions indicating that the villagers requested their king to allow them to choose their own representatives, and even the king accepted their demand. And you know the best part? The voters even had the right to pull back their candidates if they failed their duties. Sounds much better than today's democracy, isn't it? And now, talking about the temples, Tamil Nadu has the largest number of temples than any other state in India. There are temples that are over 800 years old. And we often see our Tamil brothers and sisters proudly holding on to their cultural roots and heritage. We see that in their attire and language. So with the place and the people holding on to their cultural roots and heritage so proudly, I have these questions. Why are temples under government control? How did that happen? And now, talking about the statues of Periyar which are installed before the Hindu temples. You know, these Periyar statues have inscriptions insulting the God and Hindu faith. Every religion has God. But why are these statues installed only before Hindu temples but not before churches and mosques? And now let me talk about North and South. Why is South India not so protective of Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism when compared to North India? Why are we so relaxed? With the temples under government control, with the religious conversions that are still prevalent, and with the DMK's monopoly, who is the savior of Sanatana Dharma in the South? So let's talk about all these topics in detail on our channel in this video. So let's talk about the religious institutions and the government control. Take churches, mosques, gurudwaras. None of these are under government control, but why only Hindu temples? And in the first place, how did we let this happen?
So the primary aim of this exercise is to subjugate the Hindus and weaken the Hindu belief. We saw the attacks on Sadhguru recently.
Yeah.
Politicians fear religious leaders, religious places, which try to revive the appeal of Sanatana Dharma, especially among younger population. By controlling the temples, by controlling the funds, by attacking the people and the places, ultimately they try to weaken the Hindu belief as a whole. Britishers started this. Unfortunately, the politicians are still doing it.
Yeah. So only because, the politicians are still shamelessly continuing this divide and rule policy. So can we go a little bit into the history and try to understand how did the British, kind of divide Hindus in the first place?
There are different types of invasions. There is economic invasion, political invasion, there is landmass invasion, and there is something called ideological invasion. So ideological invasion is something where an outsider comes and makes the people believe that their belief system is bad.
Okay, bad in the sense it's inferior, not good enough.
Not good enough. This is exactly what the Britishers did. When they came to India, they saw an opportunity where very less number of people are taking advantage of caste system and suppressing other people. So they gave Philip to these people with the ultimate aim of turning the majority of Hindus against the Hindu belief system.
Yeah, because most of us still hold, onto their caste very proudly, because we call caste as our identity, and so did our ancestors. So that is why I'm wondering, how did British start the caste? They didn't start the caste system, but they just fueled some people who are kind of taking advantage of caste for bad reasons.
Correct, yeah. So they took advantage of the problem that is there in our system. So we need to talk about a landmark act that is passed, which is still, controlling a lot of these temples, especially in Tamil Nadu. It's called Hindu Religious and Endowment Act, passed in 1923 in erstwhile Madras. 36,000 temples are still controlled by this act in current day Tamil Nadu. The original aim that was told to us was to use this act to prevent Brahmin domination and to prevent the caste-based discrimination in temples.
Yeah, I agree, because you're talking about 1923.
Yeah.
So that's when the British ruled us, and that's when, when we talk about Tamil Nadu, we talk about Tamil Brahmins who definitely dominated the temples and tried to push away, the non-Brahmins away from God and the temples.
Only few.
Only few.
It's not all of them. So that was the original aim, but ultimately what is happening right now is they are using this act to interfere into their religious activities. They're using this act, they are controlling the funds, the way the funds are spent. They're not focusing on the infrastructure or to give the devotees a better experience within the temples. What ultimately happens is, with all of this going on, people are turning away from the Hindu belief system. Ultimately, that weakens the Hindu majority and that increases the vote bank politics of the politicians.
Yeah, and when you say people are turning away, it reminds me of the religious conversions, that are still prevalent. So even in 1981, around 150 families, they shunned Hinduism to embrace Islam. So it's mostly the religious conversions, they target low caste Hindus, Dalits, who are oppressed, suppressed, and so they kind of target them and they convert them into Christianity and Islam. And these religious conversions, these organizations are enormously funded with ulterior political motives.
Yeah.
So even Jayalalitha's anti-conversion law and even the preachings of, Kanchi, Pitadipatis, none of these are really helping, because they are too strong for anyone to be fought against, I would say.
They have, like you mentioned, they have a lot of funds. And ultimately, this is a very religious conversions and, interfering in Hindu temples is a very, very powerful political tool.
So the strangest part is, like I said, Tamil Nadu is the land of temples.
Yeah.
But in Tamil Nadu, before the temples, we see these Periyar statues with inscriptions insulting God and also Hindu faith and the beliefs of people. So let me read the inscription on Periyar statues which are installed before the Hindu temples. There is no God. There is no God. There is no God at all. He who invented God is a fool. He who propagates God is a scoundrel. And he who worships God is a barbarian. So this is a quote coming from Periyar Ramasamy. But the statues with this quote are installed before the temple. So whoever is going to temples, they pass this quote. So that means they themselves have to kind of accept that they are fools or scoundrels, but still go. So I want to understand, who is Periyar Ramasamy? What made him actually deliver such strong quotes?
So Periyar is one of the strongest or the tallest leaders from Tamil Nadu in the Indian independence movement. He is a very forward thinker. Originally, he was a very staunch Hindu believer, and he worked a lot for the upliftment of Dalits, women, and other minority communities during the independence movement. He saw the ills of the society propagated by the British, and he fought against them viciously.
Okay.
What happened was, because of certain experiences he had within Hinduism, he ultimately turned as an anti-Hindu propagandist. He went to such an extent that he was even arrested in 1956 for burning the pictures of Lord Rama. At the end of his political career, he almost became irrelevant in the political landscape. And, it is not until his death that the Dravidian parties revived his status as some sort of cult figure, again to propagate the anti-Hindu beliefs and ultimately divide the Hindu majority.
Okay, yeah. So when you talk about, Periyar Ramasamy's bitter experiences,
Yeah.
so I could recall one experience when, he personally faced some experiences where, because he's a non-Brahmin, he's not allowed into the Brahmin organization when he was hungry.
Yeah.
He wanted food, but he was not offered food. So that is how he developed this anti-Brahmin, which became anti-Hindu, which also became anti-India.
Yeah.
So can we talk about his how radical his views later on, went on to become anti-India?
Yeah. So one of the biggest problems that we have with his teachings is his stance for having a separate country for Tamil Nadu. So we all saw the experience of Hindus under Razakars in Andhra Pradesh and
Telangana,
Telangana region,
yeah.
and we all saw the experience of Bengalis under the famines created by the Britishers. If all of these people, if they wanted a separate country because they suffered a lot under either the Britishers or the Hindu majority or whatever, then ultimately that was the goal of the Britishers. When they gave us independence, the aim of the Britishers was to split our country into like 5 or 6 smaller pieces. Because with that, they can still control us even after giving us independence. Diversity is our biggest strength.
You mean unity in diversity?
Unity in diversity. And even with just separating Pakistan and giving a separate country for Pakistan, we're still seeing the effects 70 years after that.
Yeah.
And imagine India being split into like 5 or 6 smaller pieces. Where would we be?
Yeah. So I think Periyar, he surely fought for the minorities.
Yeah.
He surely fought or uplifted people who definitely needed that upliftment.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, he took few things too personal and got into this extremism, which kind of, fed this anti-Hindu and anti-India stance. And even now, that is how these DMK, the Dravidian parties, are kind of misusing, the quotes that are delivered by Periyar Ramasamy. And that is the reason why Periyar statues are installed right before Hindu temples. He advocated against God, and every religion has God.
Yeah.
So why are these statues not before churches, not before mosques, but only before Hindu temples?
Yeah, see, this is how they try to, divide the Hindus, because that is a classic case of how they propagate the vote bank politics. So they keep all the other religions intact, and they try to, separate or divide the Hindus so that, they easily get the benefits of the, vote bank politics.
Yeah, and also this anti-Hindu stance is kind of becoming posh or like a weapon, even DMK. So the leaders are born Hindu, but they are raised anti-Hindu. And even take the newspaper, which has strong roots in Tamil Nadu, the Hindu. I grew up reading the Hindu to improve my English. I don't know how far it is successful, but even the Hindu, the name is Hindu, but the approach, the content is all leftist, anti-Hindu. Yeah, so we have many such weapons hanging around Hinduism, which clearly show that Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma are under threat. We call Tamil Nadu the land of temples because Tamil Nadu has the largest number of temples than any other state in India. So that means South India has more temples than North India.
Yeah.
But why are South Indians not so protective for Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma when compared to the North? I don't see that defensive approach at all in South Indians. We're so relaxed.
So the answer is in your question itself. Take an example, you have a property and somebody is trying to constantly attack it, trying to take it away from you. You ultimately become very protective of that. It could be a property or anything that is dear to you. This is exactly what happened to North India. The Muslim invaders destroyed almost all of the major temples, including the temple in Ram Janmabhoomi. So because of all these attacks, the North Indians saw and felt the value of protecting their temples and also the culture. The South did not see this effect because the Muslim invaders did not reach South. So the effects of the invasion is very limited to South India. So that is why there is a difference.
Not there, the
trauma is missing. So that is why there is a difference in approach of protecting Hinduism between North and the South.
Yeah. And also let's talk about this Aryan Dravidian theory, which is kind of dividing the North Indians and South Indians. Again,
one of the benefits or one of the gifts that the Britishers left is, again, this So they wanted to divide India, in any way possible. And they propagated the theory that the North Indians are Aryans and the South Indians are Dravidians. This is true to some extent, but it is not entirely accurate that not all of the North Indians are from Aryan race and not all of the South Indians are from Dravidian race. Yeah, there is a lot of mix and match also. But when they started this, theory, the politicians ultimately, used it. And you can see that the DMK and the Dravidian parties in Tamil Nadu often cite this theory as an example of how the North is different from South. They let people fear the imposition of Hindi, and ultimately they try to not let nationalism enter into the politics of Tamil Nadu. So this is the reason why BJP is failing to make a mark in Tamil Nadu.
So I agree that, the British may have started this Aryan Dravidian theory. To be honest, the literal meaning of Dravidian itself means it's just geographically people living to the south part of India. It's nothing to do with any other thing. The color or the thinking or intellect or whatever it is. But forget about British, they left us long ago. But why, until the blockbuster movie Bahubali, why did Bollywood look down upon South? And there are so many, it's not just the British, even people are still in the feeling that North India is somehow at a higher level than the South. It's a reality.
I mean, look, some politicians are really stupid, right? They really propagated this idea. Even the politicians from North propagated the idea that somehow South Indians are inferior because of the way they look or because of the way they talk, because they don't know Hindi. So and also Bollywood also did not help. They propagated a lot of stereotypes of South Indian people. So all of this was taken somewhat bitterly by the people in South India, right? They kept seeing all these things, how they are portrayed in the political world and also in Bollywood, and there is some bitterness.
Yeah.
But now I think things are slowly improving. South is really coming out of that shell. We are dominating, like you said, not only in movies, but also in every other aspect. And now, people are realizing that, people from North and South are not different after all. They're all alike. And you see a lot of nationalism also creeping into South India.
Yeah. But the thing is, there are parties so the whole topic is about Hinduism and the Sanatana Dharma.
Yeah.
And we clearly spoke about the threat, that the ideology is under. So then when we talk about the savior, automatically everyone looks up to BJP.
Yeah.
But Tamil Nadu is not allowing BJP. Clearly, they are no way closer to allowing BJP.
Yeah.
We saw that clearly in the latest assembly election results.
Yeah.
So then who is the savior of Sanatana Dharma if they are not allowing BJP?
So another reason why, obviously BJP is failing to make its mark is because BJP is born out of Jan Sangh movement, primarily from a lot of people from North India. And BJP even did not push for an expansion in South India until 15 years ago. Only under Modi and Amit Shah, they started really expanding towards states like Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra, and even Kerala.
Okay.
They had some presence in Karnataka for a while, but for the rest of the southern states, they did not even push for the expansion.
Okay.
So now things are changing, and you can also see there is a new generation of leadership coming. We all know Annamalai, the young, dynamic, and energetic IPS officer who is leading the charge for BJP in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
His integrity, his straightforwardness, and his the way he speaks to masses, the way he connects to masses is giving these Dravidian parties sleepless nights.
Yeah, straight from the heart.
Straight from the heart. And he's touching all of the subjects that really matter to people of Tamil Nadu. And he even said that if BJP gets to power, he will remove the statues of Periyar, which is kind of insulting to all the people who goes to temples. There is a place for keeping statues of Periyar in other places, yeah. But keeping in front of the temples is downright insulting. So he said he will remove it. And he is also fighting single-handedly against the monopoly of DMK. You mentioned they control media, they have enormous amounts of money, so they can control most of the electoral process. So he obviously brought the vote share of BJP from 2% to 20% in the last assembly election. That is one of the aims that he stated, which he achieved. So I think in the years to come, he is going to be someone who is going to rise to the top of the Tamil Nadu politics. He's very young, so he has a very bright future ahead, and he is one of the saviors of BJP and ultimately Sanatana Dharma.
Well, nice to hear about, people like Annamalai, young leaders. And I also want to talk about Pawan Kalyan, who is from Andhra Pradesh and leading the Sanatana Dharma movement in the light of Tirumala Laddu issue. So even, when people like Pawan Kalyan are making their efforts in raising awareness and bringing that activism, in the younger generations, South India, I don't see South Indians taking Pawan Kalyan serious enough, even though he is from South India. He is becoming a hero in North India, and the media in North India are talking high about him, but not South India. So this is why I said South Indians are more relaxed in their approach in terms of protecting or defending Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. Again, my humble request, please don't take every content and every video when it talks about our dharma, our culture, our practices as something, a kind of a religious video or a divisive factor. That is not the whole purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to raise awareness among the younger generations, awareness about our culture, and be proud of our roots, our heritage, and hold on to all these strongly, no matter where we are living, no matter what the language we talk, but ideologically, we should never ever let anyone invade us. So that strong we have to be, and we have to be so proud, of our roots. So I really hope you understand our intent. Thank you so much.
And imagine Pawan Kalyan and Annamalai shoulder to shoulder trying to revive the Sanatana Dharma from the south. Then I'm sure people from South India will take this seriously.
Yeah, I agree. But again, people, let's not wait for any heroes. We all are heroes. So I really hope you understand our attempt. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.